In this next video demonstration, we're going to create a new IPSec policy on server B that will require that all connections from your computer to port 80 require IPSec authentication and confidentiality with Kerberos v5. And just to show you, I'm going to open up Internet Explorer right now on server B and show you that I can get out to the internet no problem. Close out my browser. Now we're going to open up our local group policy by typing gpedit.msc. That'll open up our local group policy. Under computer configuration, I'm going to expand Windows settings. And under Windows settings, I will expand security settings and then IP security policies on local computer. Let me right click on that and say create IPSec security policy. It's going to bring up a wizard. We're going to call this kill the net. I don't think in the lab I specified that you call it anything. Call it whatever you want. I'm going to edit the properties for the policy, and by default there's the default response rule. We are going to make a brand new rule because remember an IPSec policy consists of rules and filter lists and filter actions, so we need to make a new rule. Notice our tab says rules up here, so we're going to click add to add a new rule. Say next, and we are going to do transport mode. Next, we're going to do this network connection for all connections, or this IPSec connection for all connections, not just LAN or remote access. And we are going to create a brand new IP filter list. So we're going to click add, and we're going to call this filter list demo. Say add. It's going to say, hey, oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back in here and filter list demo and say OK. Let's add a new filter to the list, and we're just going to leave this description blank, and we do want to say that it's mirrored, which matches the packets with the exact opposite source and destination addresses. And our source address is going to be my IP address, and the destination address will be any IP address. Say next. And the protocol type is going to be TCP, and we're going to say from any port and to port 80. Next. And we're going to finish this and say OK. And we're going to hit the radio button to activate that filter list and say next. And then we're going to make a brand new filter action to say what we want to do if something meets that criteria. We're going to say add, next. And I'll call this filter action demo. Next. And we're going to negotiate security because the lab called for us to do IPSec with authentication and confidentiality using Kerberos v5, so we're going to say next. And we do not want to allow unsecured communication. Say next. We're going to do integrity and encryption. Next. And finish. We're going to hit the radio button to enable that filter action. Say next. We're going to use Kerberos v5 for authentication method. Next. And finish. And then finally, we're done. So let's go ahead and say OK. The next thing that we need to do is actually assign this policy. So we're going to right click on this policy and left click assign. Remember that only one IPSec policy can be assigned to a computer at a time. Now let's go test to see if this policy works right. So we're going to click on start and go to Internet Explorer, try to go back out to Google, and notice that it's not working, it's not connecting, because we're saying that if we want to go communicate with anybody via port 80, which is what we're doing when we're doing HTTP, that we must negotiate security with IPSec, confidentiality, and encryption. And of course Google is not going to do that with us, so that's why it's not working. So let me go back out, and just to show you, unassign that policy, and let's go back out and try to go to Google, and notice that now that we're not trying to go IPSec, it's working just fine. All right, that completes this lab.